All right, and we finally got her back. So I want to move on to my next point here.
Uh-huh.
Can you kind of tell us if about any future projects you might have coming up, or anything you got planned in the future or the upcoming year?
So there's a hold on, give me one second. Let me think. Um, I have 3 films I want to get done, but that's ambitious. I'll probably only get 2 done. Um, I recently bought a script to a Stephen King story, so I'll be producing a short film based on a script that I got recently from Stephen King.
Oh, can you would you be able to talk about that in detail, or is that kind of
Oh
hush
yeah, well
hush?
I bought it. I own it now. So
Okay. So
there's
I mean,
another.
what was that
Huh?
like? So what was that like? Meeting with Stephen King?
Actually, his wife is the one that let me buy it.
Oh,
I wrote her. This was not too long ago. I wrote them a letter, and I was just like, I'm dope, but I ain't got no money. Um, and she took what you call it? She took pity on a poor struggling filmmaker, and they sold it to me for $1.
what story is this?
It is The Man Who Loved Flowers. It's another serial killer story.
Okay.
Um, Granted, I mean, I didn't think I'd be doing mostly serial killer movies, but you know what? If that's the genre I'm in right now, then that's the genre I'm in. Um, it's about a man who keeps breaking up with the same girl and going into a murderous rage. But to everybody else on the street, he's the guy that your mom wants you to be. He's the man that you want your daughter to marry, you know.
So he kind of looks like a clean cut, upstanding fella.
Clean cut, beautiful, you know. Girls make eyes when he walks by. Old men wish they were young again, you know, that kind of energy.
Okay, gotcha. So you bought the script,
Hmm.
but I mean, have you gone any further than that, or is it kind of like still in development?
It is still in development because the script was originally the part was originally written in 1960 something, 1970 something, like a year I did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like a year that I didn't exist. So what I've been doing is adapting it for the last couple months now. I've just been adapting it, and then when I first bought it, I was living in Minneapolis. There was no place to really do it, and now I'm here, and I found all the locations in Los Angeles. So we're at the point where I give it like maybe 2 or 3 more months. I'll be moving from pre-production to production.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's just depending on getting the funding and everything, right?
I'm great at getting funding. Right now, it's a matter of finding who do I want to shoot this. Am I going to shoot it? Am I going to pay somebody else to shoot it? Um, it's a different ballpark also when you're in Los Angeles versus when I was shooting in the Midwest and nobody cared where I shot anything.
Right, right.
Um, right now the toughest thing I'm having, not so much funding, is finding the actor to play the lead. Every time I find somebody I think could do it, either either they just kind of don't say anything after a while and just disappear, or they're a little too much like the part and they're absolutely freaking insane. So I need somebody who's going to act crazy but is not actually crazy. So that's kind of the hard part about that.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Find somebody
Um,
that fits the role that isn't that doesn't actually fit the role like that.
so it's kind of like finding someone who you would least suspect to kind of behave that
Mhm.
way, and then they behave that way. Okay, gotcha. So Halloween is around the corner. Do you have any do you have any plans, like any particular I guess, quote unquote, traditions that you kind of like to celebrate during this time of year?
Normally I'm in Vegas for Halloween, but this year I'll be in California, and I have a movie premiere October 26th, and I had a movie premiere tonight in LA and New York, and I have another one October 26th. Movie premieres are really tiring, so I hope I have enough energy to be up on Halloween. But
So, what movie is premiering?
Ouroboros.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you told me about that earlier. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. So, let's say, for instance, it's you really don't have anything going on. It's a nice, quiet October. What would you normally do to like get ready for Halloween?
dressing up and running the streets.
That's it.
Like there'll be a there'll be a party, a mansion somewhere. Like there'll be a mansion party somewhere. There'll be, I'm in LA, so there's underground vampire clubs. Like there's just so many things to do in the city that I'm currently in.
What's it
But
like? What's it like going to those vampire clubs? Because I hear stories about that, being in the South, it's kind of like hush hush. It's one of those things that
yeah,
they just doesn't come up in polite conversations. What's that like?
it's you get kind of dressed up and you're like, okay, we're gonna play vampire tonight. And I'm an observer. I love going to see weird things. I love going to see normal things. I just love observing because I make movies and write stories about them and act. I love going to observe. I guess I'm a voyeur when it comes to that. Not so much a participate. No, I'm a participant. Um, Getting dressed up, and of course, some clubs are just like walk on in, and other clubs it's like you need to know a secret passcode, and they feel they go with the ambiance, right?
Hmm.
But you're going to see some things there that probably polite society would not be okay with. But it seems like more and more of what's happening in those clubs is more like what's happening in polite society.
Gotcha. Kind of like so it was sort of like it was sort of like you'd be like going to like any regular dinner party, but with vampires, right?
No,
No,
no. If you go to dinner parties with somebody tied to a cross being lashed, I don't know where your dinner parties are, but
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
But
yeah, like you'll walk in and people will be spitting fire on each other. There'll be people participating in BDSM. Then there's people who are just sitting in the corner smoking vapes, looking like vampires.
mhm.
Um, and some people take it further than others. I just get dressed up in goth clothes and go see what it's like. Other people, they're definitely drinking blood in there, which is crazy to me. But it's
Right.
interesting to see that people are people that dedicated to the role. That's the best way to say it. People that dedicated to the role. And when they're not there, they're a banker or they're a teacher or they go back to their regular lives and you would never know that these are the people who frequent these spots.
Mhm. So
I
what
like
o-
seeing it. Hmm?
so what other things do you do to get ready for Halloween besides
Um,
dressing up in costumes?
Sacrifice a few virgins. Nah, nah, I don't have time for that. Especially in LA. That'd be so hard. I was like, oh, that's a mission that I do not want to be on in Los Angeles. Um, I use if I was living in I just recently moved to Los Angeles, but I used to make cupcakes for neighborhood kids and then get dressed up and go party all night.
Mhm. Do you
Um,
do you kind of miss that aspect of
mm,
Halloween?
I miss the kid aspect a little bit of Halloween. Cause they're
Okay.
not appreciative when what is it? I'm 5'9". When a 5'9" woman is wearing a costume trying to get candy at your door. But I mean, the party changed, right? It went from going door to door with my cousins and my brothers and sisters, and now I go to certain doors where there's mansions and champagne and other people who are having just as great of a time.
Gotcha.
But part
Gotcha.
of me does miss the watching horror movies with my mom and but my mom, she doesn't even have a taste for horror movies anymore. This is the same
Oh.
woman that was showing me Cannibal Corpse. What is it? Cannibal Holocaust when I was 8, and she just doesn't have the stomach anymore. I was like, what?
It's like I don't even know you anymore. Like, who are you?
Who are you? I was like, this is the chick that showed me Faces of Death 1 through 7.
I mean, it kind of. I mean, it kind of made me think of if you were living in ancient Rome, she would strike me as the kind of person who just one day said, I'm not interested in going to the gladiatorial games anymore. It just doesn't do it for me. It's like, really?
Yeah, but you win every day. But it happens, you
Yeah.
know.
People kind of grow out of it. I
I
mean
mean,
that.
some people do. I don't think there's no chance for me, but
Oh
some people
no,
grow out
no.
of it. I'm not.
Uh,
I'm not gonna ever do that. But
so so seeing as we're getting close to Halloween and everybody's kind of trying to figure out what's the best horror film out there, I want to ask you if you had to pick the three best horror films to recommend to someone to kind of get their spook on, what would you recommend?
um, that's okay. Night of the Living Dead is always going to be a classic, whether you're frightened of zombies or not. It's a classic.
It's a staple,
Um,
really. I mean,
staple.
I remember when I was in film school, like like every other student project would be a zombie film, and when you ask
Zombies are
them,
easy.
yeah, and when you ask them, well, why are you making it? They're like, Night of the Living Dead. Come on, so
Mhm.
so I'm totally with you on that one.
I mean, and also we have a zombie universe now, like
That's true.
Walking Dead Paris, Walking Dead New York, Walking Dead, reruns of Walking Dead, City of Walking Dead. Like it spawned, and then there was the 10 years of nothing but zombie films.
Hmm.
My favorite zombie film is, I guess it's a rage film, but I don't really, when the zombies became fast, it still felt like zombies.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I love 28 Days Later. Cillian Murphy is my dream, is my dream husband. Um, but I'm gonna say the movie that frightened me the most, I'm gonna say Candyman. Candyman scared the hell out of me, but I was a little kid. But I think that's why it goes on the list. I was a little kid when that movie scared the hell out of me.
So Candyman would be number two after Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. 'Cause I'm
All
like
right.
my favorites, not the scariest, but my favorites. And I think the last one, ooh, the last one, I don't know if this counts as horror. I think it's Serpent in the Rainbow.
Okay.
Serpent in the Rainbow is terrifying on so many levels.
Well, I mean, it doesn't need to be horror in the classical sense. Like if it like scares you, if it like creates this like atmosphere of unease, obviously it's going to fall under that genre. Just because horror is a pretty nebulous genre in itself, because
Yeah,
anything could fall
yeah,
into it.
yeah.
Um,
But Serpent in the Rainbow is terrifying because it seems like so many things in it could just actually happen aside from the hallucinations and stuff like that.
right.
But like
Like
when
so,
he's buried, there's one where he's just buried alive, and that like my family is Creole, so there are people who practice voodoo, and that is one of the many attributes of supposedly voodoo. And it's just the idea of being alive, but being alive in a body that you cannot control. It's just terrifying. I guess that's also like a zombie.
yeah, gotcha. Just out of curiosity, did you ever participate in Humans versus Zombies? Because I know that was a huge thing back in the early 2000s, all over college campuses. Did you ever do
I
that?
wanted to, but I was going like I'll say it. I wanted to, but I was going to a very snotty school.
Really? Because I thought even at snotty schools, like there would be like, a group of students who would be like, yeah, maybe we should do Humans versus Zombies.
No, I wish, but no.
No,
I
you
wish, but
really,
that wasn't the vibe. The vibe there is like, let's play yachts versus like hedge funds, which is weird that I did all that and now I make horror movies, but it's whatever.
I was gonna say like you strike me as the kind of person who would absolutely like live for Humans versus Zombies. Like I could see you like taking over the whole thing and just being like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna run it my way, and if you don't like it, then tough luck. Um,
Nah, I'm actually a sweetheart when it comes to my crew. Everybody
so
else, they can get this gangster stuff,
yeah.
but I'm a nice. Everybody else, they get the gangster shit. When it comes to my crew, I love my crew. I love their input. I love the collaboration when it comes to art. I love the collaboration. When I make films, I don't want to be the boss when I'm making my film. I want to be part of the collaborative effort. If that, I wonder if that makes more sense. Like, I'm not a
Yeah.
Scorsese where I'm just like, you do this and you do that and you do it like this. I'm just like, okay, so, I think it helped that I went to an Ivy League art school because most of my teachers were named Moonbeam, you know?
Hmm.
There was no like, ugh. It was like, so let's like, what are we feeling today? And like, when Hitchcock approached this, how do you think he felt about like world peace, Like my first school was an art Ivy League where the teachers were named Moonbeam and Flower and Sunset. I took a writing class, and the first thing we did was go outside barefoot and have a sound bowl, for every class.
All right.
And then we'd end the class with yoga. My approach to it is still very, very relaxed because I feel like that makes the best product when your crew is able to relax and kind of like enjoy what they're doing. Enjoy their craft and what they're doing. I can't be a hard ass when it comes to that. I don't have it. I love it too. I love what I'm doing too much.
Gotcha. And look at you now. You're going to all these different premieres, so something's working. Um,
Something's working. You know what? I think what's working is that I'm doing a job that, like, conceivably a 5-year-old could do pretty well. Like, I never forget that I'm working as an actor. 6-year-olds excel at this job.
yeah, because it's all about imagination, really. I kind of, I kind of feel for other adults because because especially if you knew them as children. I mean, you're
Yeah.
like, wow, these guys have like such an imagination. They grow up and they're like, nah, I'm just gonna work a 9 to 5 job. I like wearing neckties and I drive a 4 door sedan. I'm like, I'm sorry, this
I
is
mean,
pretty freaking weird. You
it
used
is
to have a
really
huge
I mean, it's all
imagination.
really weird. It's all really weird. We're giant primates that like to drive around and wear clothes. Like, it's weird. It's gonna
Hmm.
be weird. And like it is kind of that way. And it's just like I've been lucky enough to be able to do the thing that I said I wanted to do when I was 6 years old. Like, my inner child is fulfilled. I am doing exactly what I wanted to do and said I was going to do when I was a kid.
So, and you might have mentioned this before, but if an up and coming filmmaker approached you today or this evening and said, "Hey, um, I'm a brand new filmmaker. I'm just getting started. What would be the number one advice that you would give them that you
Um,
feel is important?"
um, if you really believe in your project, don't let anybody talk you out of it. When I first showed the film that is premiering now and has awards, I got booed in the theater, and then a fight broke out. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
huh? Well,
Okay. That's
yeah,
a first.
yeah, it was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. I've watched old movies like what is it? When Psycho came out, people were passing out. I didn't make a Psycho, maybe I did, but not, I'm not Hitchcock. I'm not.
Right.
Or The Birds, like I heard people were terrified. And The Exorcist, people were fainting.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not making anything of that caliber. This is my first film. And then people started booing. And I was like, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then other people stood up and was like, shut up. You don't like it, get out. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it proceeded to like continue. And then it's kept happening. And at first I was like, okay, this is unusual. People are fighting in my films. And then it was just like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have made this film that people are angry and booing. And then it started winning awards. I started putting it in things, and then people started asking me for it, and it started winning awards. And now I go drive, I'm in Hollywood and I can see my poster on the walls. I can, I'm going to be in a movie theater, Landmark movie theater, on October 26th, watching my movie in a theater. from a movie that, the first time I showed it, people booed me. And I couldn't get anybody on the soundtrack at one point, and instead Soldier Boy and Juicy J came and saved me.
Oh,
All the
shit.
points, all the points where I wanted to give up, at the very last second, something came through and was like, no, 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 that's not it. Keep going. Like, don't let anybody stop you from going on it. Cause like, look at those movies like The Room, for Christ's sakes. Terrible film, but everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you truly believe in what you're doing, if you really feel like this in this project wholeheartedly, do it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says that you can't do. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like it, somebody else will like it.
And
And there's somebody else will like it.
you got to give it time too, because sometimes these, you can feel a bit discouraged, but you give it enough time, everybody's gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe I missed out on this. This is amazing."
Mm-hmm. I found a lot of movies where I'm like, whoa, I found this in a basement. This is awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's movies that I've seen where I'm like, wow, I'm glad I went to the library and got this free stuff because I was bored.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch a lot of French films. And it's like I found movies like La Vie en Rose. I found movies like City of God. I found all these films that, like, in America mainstream, I would never have seen if I wasn't looking for something different.
Right.
I say,
Right.
if you believe in it, keep going. Like, if you're doing it just to like um help your ego, that product's probably not going to work for you. If you're doing it because you really honestly truly believe in what you're doing and the story that you're presenting, keep going. It doesn't matter if people don't like it. Somebody will like it. Now, I mean, somebody might not like it until after you're dead, like lots of painters
Or poets.
or poets. People might not like it until after you're dead, but I guarantee if you're doing something that you're dedicated to and that you love, somebody will like it. It may not be in your lifetime, but somebody will like it.
And that's the honest truth. That's not you being macabre or anything, right?
No, the honest truth.
Gotcha.
Honest
Gotcha.
truth. If you really believe in it, somebody will love it. Like when you think of like, there's lots of like musical genres, like right now I also work as a journalist for a couple art stations. I work for NPR as a journalist too.
Mm-hmm.
And right now video game music is blowing up, right? Like they're doing video game music raves now. Now, when you first played Sonic or Pac-Man or any of that, did you imagine that like how many years in the future there's going to be underground video game raves?
I mean, it was like elevator music to me when I played those games.
It was, and now there's and now it's as set to EDM. And it
Wow.
was, and now it's set to EDM, and they're having parties and raves, and people are out right now dancing to it. There's lots of things where you're like, I didn't see that coming. Okay, well, it's here now, and I loved it. I love video games, so for me, it was wonderful seeing how much video games have changed while being a part of the culture, or have changed culture. Video,
Right.
like, something that started, like, for me, I remember playing my aunt's video game, and it was two little dials, and you had a little stick, and you had to make sure that the little ball wouldn't, like, go past the stick.
Oh yeah, Pong. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we had. I was super little, and that's what she had. And I mean, it was old. It was old when I got here, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like looking at that, and then now it's like in the future where people are like, dancing at like boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants, and then Mario's like Mario.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird seeing that. Like somebody put it to a beat, and now I have a friend that was doing it, and he's touring the country. He's in Japan. He's in Ireland. And it's like, when they made these little, like this little electronic thing, like nobody could have fathomed where it would have been today. People are dying while playing video games because they don't get up to use the bathroom or eat for days. There's just so many things about like this little something that was so little that grew into something else. I'm pretty sure when they first made it, they weren't like, oh, this is going to be a worldwide phenomenon. And it's like, if you really believe in it, not saying that, you're going to make a movie that's as big as video games, but if you really truly believe in it, somebody will find it. Somebody will find it and somebody will love it. And if it's not that many people, that's okay. It's fine to be rare. Because that's the best part. When you meet somebody who's just like, you saw that? Yeah, I saw it. Wow. Wow. Like I saw this movie that was it was supposed to be the sequel to Dr. Caligari from the 1980s.
Right.
Well, Dr. Caligari from the 1930s is supposed to be a sequel that was made in the 80s, and it's nothing like Dr. Caligari. It's the weirdest thing, right? It's basically his granddaughter is running a mental hospital where she can inject different personalities into hold on I get some light, where she can inject different personalities into different people with different psychosis. And there's a scene where she makes a homicidal nymphomaniac, and then there's one where she injects this romance personality into a guy that cannibalized his entire family.
Oh, damn.
So then he starts saying these weird, strange poems, and it's like when I meet somebody who's just like, yeah, I saw that, I'm just like, what? It seems like it's like, oh wow, somebody else is weird with me. So there's even that factor. Or Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's terrible, but it's a classic.
Right.
It's just then there's also films like Trauma. Trauma's trash. But now the new Trauma film has Peter Dinklage in it and all these like celebrities. Like I remember watching The Toxic Avenger. I remember watching Poultrygeist. The fact that there are now Oscar-winning actors in a Trauma film is insane to me. Or was it Class of Nukem High? Like all those really bad movies are now, people are loving them. People are reliving that nostalgia. There's more of a huge fan base than we ever imagined. Like what is it? I work with the people who I did a movie with the people who did Puppet Master. And they said that Puppet Master is bigger than it ever was. Those craptastic films that they were showing on like, cable channels back in the like, I want to say late 90s maybe, are now these cultural phenomenons. Nobody thought that when they were making these like late night, like 14-year-old boy softcore. Nobody thought that. So I always tell people, you know what? Even if you don't think anybody's gonna like it, trust what you're doing. Just do it. If it
So
doesn't work, that's fine. At least you did it.
be true to yourself, basically.
Be true to yourself. Like if you love something and other people are telling you not to do it, I'm pretty sure somebody read the script for Toxic Avenger and was just like, "What is this crap?" But now it's a TV show, a play, and now it's a movie with Oscar-winning actors in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw the teaser for that. It had Peter Dinklage and Elijah
Uh-huh.
Wood. So
Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, okay. How did we get here? So I would say just go ahead and make it. And if you got to beg, borrow, and steal, do it. If you got to start an OnlyFans to fund your film, do it. Like, because it's like, I'm a firm believer that if somebody wants something, really wants it, they're going to go get it.
right.
And if you want it, you'll go get it. Regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of how other people feel about it. If you really truly believe in yourself, you're going to get it. If you really truly want it, you're going to get it. Like I said, like I touched upon earlier, I was editing my film and crying at 4:00 in the morning because I couldn't find any music. And I thought, oh God, I'm never gonna get this film done. Da, 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 da. And then at 05, after I'm sitting there sobbing, I get a call, and this very, very, very Southern voice says, it's like, hey, it's Juicy. And I was like, Juicy? And I was like, Juicy J? And he was like, yeah, I heard that you was making a film. I'm going to help you out. And then him and Soulja Boy made me some music. And it was like, just being awestruck that, like, I was just crying a second ago because I couldn't find people to be on my soundtrack. And then all of a sudden, random celebrity friends that I didn't know I had came and helped me. If you really truly believe in what you're doing, people will help you. People will help you get it done. You just have to put in the work and the effort and the belief that it is something that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know I know this particular interview we've had a few technical difficulties, but we made it through. So
Okay.
so score one for us. So Karita, if people want to reach out to you or if they want to follow you, where can they do that?
I'm on everything. TikTok. Okay. So I'm Queen, like Queen Kong. So opposite of King Kong, I'm Queen Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Kong Kai on TikTok. Facebook. No, not Facebook. Facebook makes me use kind of my government name. So Queen Kong Kai on TikTok. Instagram. There's so many of these things, but I'm the same person on all of them. Pinterest. I am on all of it. YouTube. I'm Queen Kong Kai on the internet. I looked it up. If you search it up, I'm the only one that's there, which is crazy.
That's good though.
Oh yeah. Well, I got it because I really liked the movie Queen Kong. It was a female version of King Kong.
That sounds familiar.
It was bad. It was poorly made, but I thought it was funny and it matched my personality.
Right. Yeah. And if you can send me an email with all the links, I'll put it down in the description below. Just because, just because I want to, I want to make sure that that people can reach out to you if need be. Do you are you are you working on any on any podcasts or anything else that that we should be aware of? Because I know I told you about that one podcaster that one podcast I'm going to be on later on this month.
Oh yeah, you did. I don't think I have any podcasts coming up. I'm a little like I'm enjoying doing other people's podcasts because I did one for 2 years and that burnt me out. But I'm enjoying doing other people's podcasts, but not any other podcasts coming up. I'm going to be stepping in and doing a lot more cinematography for other people for a little while.
Okay.
No podcast coming up. There should be some. They normally come up pretty fast though. I say, oh no, there's not going to be any, and then tomorrow I'll get an email like, hey, so yeah, I'm going to focus on these movie premieres.
I gotcha.
I'm a team of one. Movie premieres, and then also I still work as a model in Los Angeles. So I model and I also run a marketing company.
No, you're really, really busy.
Well, you know what? When you live in Los Angeles, you kind of have to be. It's expensive to live here.
Oh yeah.
But I also moved here because I was seeing somebody who convinced me to move to the Midwest, and the Midwest is soul draining for me because I'm a person that enjoys that energy of other people creating around me. I'm not a homebody. And like I don't sit at home knitting. I like to make horror movies and go see people and do what I need to do. And I work a lot. And I also don't like being cold. So I spend a lot of time running around in Los Angeles because that's kind of what I moved here for. I didn't want to let my life pass me by and not go live where other people like me live.
Gotcha.
And there's tons of other me's out here, and it's kind of wonderful. Granted, they're stuck. Most of the other me's are stuck up as hell, but
Yeah, but none of
I-
them none of them have the life story that you have, and that's what makes
No.
you you. So
Yeah, because